So here's the the comment that was posted back. Nothing vile or vulgar or anything. Just a debate, I guess. Not, yeah, I guess just exchanging ideas. No reason to get nasty, nor did this person. When you say that Christianity is being trying to be removed from the face of the earth, they're all in the same team. This is where everybody gets fucked up in the Christian religion. Your pastors are wearing black robes. Witches wear black robes. Luciferians wear black robes. Judges wear black robes. Jews wear black robes. It's because it represents the female aspect of the planet Saturn. If the Christians weren't unknowingly involved in that, and I say unknowingly because the people have no idea that this old Babylonian religion is what rules this planet. If they knew, then they probably wouldn't partake in it. So if you're going to wipe out Christianity, all you're doing is just shutting down one regime of your own empire. Let me put it this way. In the news right now. So they took down the flag in South Carolina. And what is it? It's a big X with 13 stars in it. So the big X, the X represents Saturn, right? The old Babylonian cult, that's their symbol. And it had 13 stars in it. Well, the 13 stars is supposedly supposed to represent the 13 states that were originally founded. So let's just go with that story. And so what would that flag be telling us? It's telling us that those 13 original colonies were founded under the Saturnian regime or the Babylonian belief. And so they made that their flag. And they made it with orange because orange is chaos. And so these guys that founded this place were not Christians like you think. These guys are part of the club. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed here since whatever it was that happened so long ago before Atlantis. It's exactly the same. Wipe Christianity off the face of the earth and what? Replace it with another one? The Jews wear black cubes on their heads. Obviously, you've not watched many of my videos. They wear cubes on their head. The Muslims walk around a big black cube. The Christians sit in Masonic temples and buildings and churches with all kinds of sexual orientated carvings and what have you. They all wear the same biker jackets. They're reading from an authorized version of the Bible. Why would you be so worried about an authorized version of a Bible if there wasn't something in there that you weren't worried about? Why don't they ever take a sermon and explain to you why those windows are fragmented and different colors like a rainbow? Why don't they ever tell you why you got to walk through that little gate to take communion? The same gate that you walk through when you walk up onto the deck of a ship and when you walk through up to talk to the judge in a courtroom. Why don't they tell you about the Phoenicians and where all of this stems back to, and that modern day masonry is already in the King James Bible? When Hiram, who was the Phoenician that was hired by King Solomon, the Jew, to build the temple. Why don't they tell you that in there? Why don't they tell you that about all of that stuff in church? Because if people started finding it out, people would start questioning really what's going on with all of this stuff, and not to wipe out Christianity, but to get educated. But they don't. What they do is they want you to donate. That's a nice word for it. Or feel guilty if you don't when everybody else is putting money in. I was raised a Lutheran. Okay? I didn't swear off the fact that Jesus Christ was who he said he was. That's not anything, and I got nothing to do with any of that. I'm just trying to tell you, why are they all wearing the same colors when you know what the colors represent and where this stuff really came from? If the church has separated itself from all of that, then why are they still wearing the colors? If you're wearing that biker jacket, you belong to the gang, because the gang won't let you wear them colors unless you're part of the club. Okay? Men dressed in robes in the courtroom, men dressed in robes in the church. That's androgyny. It's male and female combined. There's no difference between that than one of them dudes that walks around dressed up like a tranny. I mean, it's the same thing. How is that any different? A man dressed in a woman's robe, and that's what it represents, teaching people that you're living a sinful life, but you're prancing around in a fucking muumuu that's fucking dyed black. The fuck are you? That's my point. Nobody's who's wiping out Christianity does what? It's like when they said they're going to take down the flag because it represents tyranny. If you take that flag down from South Carolina, in order for that to really work, you would have to destroy the whole system here, because that X represents this system. It's just a game. They're convincing people, oh look, we're doing a great and wonderful thing because it's a false sense of security. Oh, everybody's getting together and we're all going to pull together. What? So you can all get slaughtered together. The guys that are taking the flag down are the guys that put it up. If you feel that Christianity is being wiped out, it's because it's the same guys that created it are trying to take it down. Jesus was not a Christian. How could he be? That word didn't even come up until long after he had left. So quit associating that with that word. There was no such thing. If he was Jewish, then he would have gone into a temple. There was no churches. That word comes from the Scottish word kirk. Interestingly enough. So that's like Captain Kirk. And then you've got the Jews who are into the whole Luciferian thing, and that when you see Spock on TV hold up his hand and make that symbol with his fingers split, that's the symbol of the god Vulcanus. And what's interesting about that is that's Phoenician, where they used to burn people to death, right? So now you've got Kirk the church, you've got the Jews with the Vulcan, so now you've got Kirk and Spock. And what is Kirk in charge of? He's in charge of the Enterprise, which is exactly what the church is. It's a fucking business. You're mixing spirituality and your deep felt belief up with the church. There's a difference. You don't need to go into that building. You don't need to do anything with that building. You don't have to get anywhere near that building. That is not Christianity. That is a false. It is a false group of people that have gotten together under the guise that they believe that that's what Jesus would have done, and Jesus did all those things. He had nothing to do with the church. It didn't even exist. The word didn't even exist. And Christianity, it's just playing one against the other. The Christian pastor wears a black robe. The Luciferian in his druidic, garb wears a black robe. The Grim Reaper wears a black robe. You go to church and you get married by a guy in a black robe. You go to a funeral, the same guy in a black robe's there. Don't you understand? It's all being run by the same thing. You graduate from college, you're wearing a black robe. Don't you understand? It's all one organization. It all goes back to ancient Phoenicia, and then it goes back farther than that. So nobody's ripping down the Christian religion. It's a game. Don't you get it? If you're wearing the biker jacket, you're part of the team. Now, whether you've been conned into understanding that you're part of the team or you're just being used as a pawn, that's another thing. None of us got this down pat. None of us are going to walk skate-free because I know that what a black robe means. That's not what I'm trying to convey here. What I'm trying to convey here is what they do is they remove one faction and open up another one. The world is being set up for a fall right now. What you call Christianity is going to take a hit because it's supposed to. Just like the flag coming down in South Carolina. The Christian religion wears the same outfits that the Luciferian Druidics do. Okay, and the fact that they use money and they have guidelines that they cannot vary from, if a church, like let's say a Lutheran church, actually did try and tell you the stuff that I'm telling you, that guy would be fired. He would be thrown out because they have a guideline and they're a tax exempt part of the government. Quit confusing your spiritual beliefs with a religious organization. Religion is not spirituality. Religion is traditions of men. Spirituality is what goes on with you and what you have perceived the Father to be. They all wear the same biker jacket, and unless they're going to post a sign explaining why they're wearing black robes, dressing up like a broad in a man's body, and making you eat crackers and fucking drink wine and all of that other silly shit that goes with it, then they're part of the team. They are the ones that should be denouncing all of this shit, but they don't. So, think about it. Why are they still wearing all the old Babylonian garb if they've actually gone past that and accepted Jesus and his ways? Because I can't find I don't think I've run across a picture of Jesus wearing a black robe, because he wasn't part of the Babylonian pantheon